All right, everyone, welcome back today for our Meal Solution Monday class, where right now we are focusing on our theme called Flyer to Fork. And if you're wondering, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm Shana, one of the dietitians, and happy to have you along with us today. So jumping in to what Flyer to Fork means here, okay? Flyer is our circular or our weekly sales ad. Okay. So our goal during these classes on Monday is to let you know about some of the deals that we have in the ad and then bring it to life. Okay. And we're going to make a featured meal to go along with that. And today specifically, we are making pumpkin pancakes, hence my pumpkin shirt that I have going on today. Pumpkin pancakes with bacon. Yes, I said it. I said bacon. Okay, we'll chat about what kind of bacon in a moment, as well as a brown sugar oat milk espresso. Real quick before we dive in, going back to pumpkin, I'm not going to emphasize this too much because in October, which is right around the corner, we are doing a whole pumpkin and apple takeover to our produce spotlight class. So we're going to be talking so much about pumpkin then. But I want to know if you yourself are a pumpkin lover, give me a bunch of hearts. I want to see who loves the pumpkin, who is excited about today or our pumpkin takeover here in October. That's a lot of hearts. Okay, cool, cool. Now, in terms of this brown sugar shaken espresso we're going to be making today, why are we doing that? Well, because it's National Coffee Day. Woo! That's a good day, right? It is a good day. Although it is Monday, it's National Coffee Day, and we're making something with pumpkin and bacon. Like, I really don't think that it can get much better than that, right? We're going to have a really good time today. So, once again, thank you for hanging out with me today to do that. All right. Now, back to the logistics here and talking about how we are trying to bring our sales ad to life for you guys. I just wanted to review real quickly, if you weren't familiar, how to find the weekly ad, okay? You can find it in your mailbox, in our stores, on our website, or on our app if you have that downloaded on your smartphone. So this is what it's going to look like on our website. If you go to giantfoodstores.com, or if you're a Martin shopper, you can go to Martin Foods as well. At the top, we have the weekly ad tab, okay? And that is what you're going to click on. And it's just going to bring it up for you. You can search for this based off of whatever store you usually shop in. And I bring that up because prices might be different based off of location. So make sure that, like, as you can see here, I have Camp Hill highlighted, that you have the store highlighted that you typically shop at. Also, just to note, you can see it here in my screenshot that I have some different dates for the ad. If you go onto our website on a Thursday, you have the option of looking at the current ad or next week's ad, okay? Our sales ads run from Friday to the following Thursday. So that's why on that Thursday, you can preview next week. So if you like to get your shopping done on a Friday, you have that option to check out that preview on our website. Here's how you're going to find it on the app if you have that downloaded on your phone. So right on the home screen, you're just going to scroll down, and right underneath where it indicates your choice points, it'll show you your weekly ad. Now, like I said, I was looking at this on Thursday, so you can see there that I have the option of looking at the current ad or next week's ad. Okay, so if you're a planner, I suggest you check it out on Thursday. Now, once you find something that you like in the ad that's on sale, you just search for some inspiration on our savory site, okay? So if you are on our website, there is a tab for recipes that's going to take you to our savory recipe resource center. I wanted to find something with pumpkin, so in my search box, as you can see there on the left, I just typed in pumpkin. Over 200 recipes came up. Now, if you have some more things that you'd like to be specific about, we do have more filters that you can say, you know, I want a pumpkin recipe, but I don't want cinnamon in it. All right, so you can put in there that you dislike cinnamon. Or if you scroll further down with our filters, You can divide things out between time of the year. Do you want a dessert or an entree or a guiding star recipe? All of that is there to help you find exactly what you are looking for. Okay. Now, here's what we are making today, as promised. Okay, the pumpkin pancakes with bacon. The links are there. This presentation will be emailed out as well. So if you want to save this to your computer, you will always have those links to click on later. Don't they look delish? I am super hungry and ready for this. Here are the ingredients, which we will chat more about as we are actually making the recipe. But one that I will note right off the bat at the very bottom, it does call for a quarter of a cup of vegetable oil. I like to use canola oil when I'm cooking or baking, just has a bit more heart health benefits to it in the way of omega-3. So I will let you know that I am making that swap right away. Now, let's check out which of those ingredients are actually in the sales ad. Now, keep in mind prices and availability may differ depending on where you are. But to start off the bat, the base of our pumpkin pancakes, of course, is going to be flour and the King Arthur brand all-purpose flour, as well as the South Rising flour, are on sale this week. Okay. So that's a good one to pick up there. We're going to be using that in our recipe today. And then, of course, some spices. McCormick spices are on sale. Our recipe specifically calls for cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. But the three of those are a good base to pumpkin pie spice. So if you want to skip having to actually use all three of those, you can purchase McCormick's pumpkin pie spice instead. I believe that their brand also adds, along with the ginger, cloves, and cinnamon, they have nutmeg mixed in and some allspice. Everybody's pumpkin pie spice is a little bit different, but I believe that that's what goes into McCormick. So you can go either direction there. Also on sale in the ad this week that we're using today would be our branded 100% pumpkin. Okay, mind you, this is 100% pumpkin. It's not pumpkin pie filling, which is going to have some additives to it in the way of sugar and whatnot. This is just straight pumpkin. So that's on sale, and we are pairing our pancakes today with our brand bacon, which is also on sale. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that I always call out our lower sodium bacon. Whether you are watching your blood pressure or not, I would still recommend this bacon because I find it to be the best. Like, this is the bacon that I buy all the time. It's always in my fridge. It's the family favorite in my house compared to anything else that we have had. So it just cooks up perfectly crispy. I'm a crispy bacon kind of person, but the other half of my family is not. So it can be bubbly and not crispy too, if that's your jam. But definitely pick up the lower sodium bacon, especially when it's on sale right now. Okay, here are the directions for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share our other recipes so that way once I stop sharing my screen, we can just keep digging in to what we're making. Here is the brown sugar shaken oat milk espresso. If you are a Starbucks fan, this is one of their iconic drinks there. This is my favorite drink to get from Starbucks. If you're familiar with some of the times that Zach from our team has been on our classes, it's also his go-to drink. So it's a big favorite. Okay, here are the ingredients for it. I have noted a swap right away as well that I'm not making espresso. I did buy Starbucks unsweet black espresso Americano chilled beverage. Okay, so I'm all about convenience. You guys know that. So I got the pre-made espresso. And then some brown sugar, oat milk, ice, and cinnamon. What is on sale? The oat milk, okay? Our Nature's Promise oat milk. If you haven't tried it before, once again, while it's on sale, it's the time to do it. This one in particular is going to be unsweetened. If you are someone who hasn't really tried oat milk in general, especially in coffee, I would highly suggest it. I myself am lactose intolerant, so I buy cow's milk, but I buy the lactose-free kind. but when you are out at different coffee places, that's not usually an option. Usually for a dairy-free option or a lactose-free option, they give you oat milk or almond milk. I'm not big on the flavor of almond milk in my coffee, so I always gravitate towards the oat milk, and I'm really excited to try to make this at home. I will note that although the Starbucks espresso is not pictured in the sales ad, it is on sale as well. Okay, not everything that's on sale can fit into the ad. So just a note there that that also is on sale. Okay, here are the directions for that we are going to get into in a moment. All right, so that was a lot, but I just wanted to get it all out there for you. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and switch cameras here so you guys can see what I am making, and we're going to start making these pumpkin pancakes, okay? All right, so let me stop this video, and we're going to, ta-da, yes, okay. Guys, I don't have my fall nails yet, okay? It's soccer season, so I'm supporting my girls, my team, so that's what's going on with the nails. But the fall nails are coming soon, okay? Just not soon enough for our pumpkin pancake. You can't see it over here, but I will pan over eventually. No pun on words here, but I have a pan. I'll pan over to my pan in a moment, where we're gonna be cooking our pancakes. I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up that pan so it's good and ready to go for us. In my dish here, I've started this off already with that flour. Okay, once again, the King Arthur all-purpose flour is what's on sale in the ad. I have a half a cup of it over here, the lighter flour. And then over here, I have a half a cup of our brand of whole wheat flour. Okay, so half a cup of each. Now to that, I'm going to be adding the rest of our dry ingredients. So right here, I have already 3 tablespoons of sugar measured out, and then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, now time for those spices. We'll start off here with cinnamon. Once again, those McCormick spices are what is on sale this week in the ad. We need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I use cinnamon a ton, so I'm getting down to the bottom of this one. It's 1 teaspoon in there. Then to that, we're gonna add ginger and the cloves. I believe it's 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger and then just a pinch of cloves. I'm not gonna measure that out. Yes, baking, which pancakes are kind of like baking, is a science, but when it comes to these spices, it's more like the flavor. So I'm okay with just eyeballing those. And I'll be honest, cloves and ginger are not my favorite spices either, so I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so we have our dry ingredients in here. Just going to toss them together, and then we're going to set that aside and we will work with our wet ingredients. Okay, just give me a moment here. We got lots of things going on. So here in this bowl, I already have that 1/4 of a cup of canola oil. Remember, recipe says vegetable oil. I've switched it out for the canola oil. To that, I am going to be adding 3/4 of a cup of milk. And then we need a half of a cup of that pumpkin that we talked about here. So let me go ahead and measure that out. Last night, I was using some canned pumpkin. My daughter and I made pumpkin chocolate chip pancakes. Not pancakes, that's what we're making right now. We made pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. And I have been making them every year since college. It's kind of like my little go-to fall recipe that we love. And I am not going to disclose how many of those cookies I may or may not have had for breakfast, okay? So we have our pumpkin in there. Now, to that, we are going to add 2 eggs. Now, the recipe calls to separate these eggs. and separating them from the yolk, adding the yolk right in here, reserving the whites to whip up the whites and to make like some soft foam. Okay. Why do we do that? If we whip up our egg whites, then your pancakes are going to be nice and light and fluffy. Do you have to do that? No, you don't. Okay. We're going to do a little experiment attempt today because the recipe does call for you to whip up those egg whites in your like your mixer. And I am not about getting my mixer out right now to make pancakes. Okay. Pancakes, I feel like, are one of those things that you enjoy making, and like getting my mixer out, as much as I love it, is not something I enjoy doing for something like making these fun pancakes. So you can whip them by hand. That's what we're going to attempt to do here. So what we need to do is separate our egg white. How I do that is I just crack this egg. This is a process, okay? Gently open, and you're just gonna let that white come out, okay? You do need to be careful. It's not gonna work as well if you get some of this yolk in here because, oh, I can already see it happening. I can already see it happening. That was not a good one. Try to catch that. Okay, that yolk in there is going to break up the fluffiness of these whites, okay? So try not to do what I just did. I tried to save it. I think we're okay. Let me get rid of that one there. We'll try the next one. They do make, hold on, let me rinse this off my hand. They do make egg separators that you can use. But we're just making some rustic pancakes right now. We don't need to get super fancy, but just showing you if that's what you would like to do. Okay, see how that egg white is going? And I just kind of keep tossing it back and forth if I have a good break there. Okay? All right, that was a little better. Okay, we'll go ahead and put that one in there. All right, let me wash off my hands. Okay. So now we're gonna save these. Okay, wait on this. We'll put those aside. Let's whip up these wet ingredients. Okay. And then we are going to add them into our dry ingredients over here. Okay. Hold on, hold on. Let me get the rest of this in here. Okay, good. Gonna mix this around. And then we want to add those egg whites in at the end after we whip them up a little bit here, okay? So get this mostly incorporated. Okay, we don't want to overmix, but we definitely want to get that mixed through here. Okay, looks good. Now, like I said, I don't feel like this is going to be overly successful because I'm not going to stand here forever to try to make this into like a nice whipped egg white. But you get the gist that we would do this for a good amount of time. And eventually, especially if you were doing this with a mixer, like if you've ever made angel food cake before, this egg white would actually turn white and like make soft peaks. Okay. It's like I said, I don't think it's going to happen today. If I were making these pumpkin pancakes on a Saturday morning, I really would skip this step. It's starting to get a little foamy. So you can get that. I'm really getting my workout here today. Yeah, see the foam? We would have to do that for a good while yet, but we have incorporated some air. Okay. So it is going to help with the fluffiness of our pancakes a bit. But for the sake of time, we will move on. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, add those in. If you would have gotten that nice fluffy egg white situation, you would want to be very careful to then fold them into your batter. Okay. But we'll just go ahead and whip that up with the rest of our ingredients. My pan has been heating up. So as promised, let's pan over to my pan. Here it is. I'll just move over the whole way. Okay. It is, hold on, we'll just move you guys. There we go. Okay. It is warm. I'm going to use my canola spray and spray that on there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my 1/4 cup measuring cup and spoon some pancake batter into here. Okay. We'll do one back here. Go ahead and turn my burner up now. Don't be alarmed. I'm just turning the bridge of these two burners on together so I can get the back of my pan. Just with the setup of my stove, I kind of had to use a smaller burner. But yes, I am aware that that is on back there now, okay? But I appreciate if you were concerned about my stove. Okay, so there we go. Get those going. Give them some time to cook. And once they are ready, we will let them cook, like I said, for a little bit. We'll flip them after about 2 minutes so they can cook about 2 minutes on each side. I feel like I've said this to you guys before. I feel like pancakes are one of those things that you got to get into a groove, right? Like the first couple might not be stellar, but then you'll eventually get there, okay? But while those cook, let's move again. Oh, just going around the kitchen. Do-do-do. Ta-da! Okay, let's talk about that coffee, right? Coffee day. So here we go. We're going to be making some coffee here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a bigger mason jar because I want to have enough room in here to shake. And then we will pour it into my little mason jar to actually use as the drink. If you want to just use it an actual cup, that's fine too. I, want to be like the cool kids and use mason jars. So this big mason jar, I'm going to fill up with 1.5 cups of ice. So just give me a moment to do that. Okay. I might have closer to 2 cups. Let me take some left. Okay. Here we go. Now, this is not on the recipe, so pay close attention. Zach, who I told you from our team, used to work at Starbucks back in the day, told me that the secret to the brown sugar espresso is not to wait until the end to add the dash of cinnamon, but to add the cinnamon to the ice right now. So in it goes. All right, we'll see. Okay. I am watching my pancakes. So I got my ice in there. I have my dash of cinnamon in there. To that, we are going to be adding 2 ounces, which is about 1/4 cup of that espresso. Okay. So that's going in. Then we're adding 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. And we're adding 6 ounces or 3/4 cup of that oat milk. Oh, doesn't it look pretty already? It does. Okay. So let me move this up. Now, once again, the beauty of the mason jar, you put this lid on. If you make like cocktails and you have a cocktail shaker, you can use that too. But we're going to do this, and then it says to shake for 20 seconds. Okay, ready? Okay. Da-da-da. Now, here we go. I'm going to put more ice. Well, no. Yeah. Let me just put a little ice in here. Okay. Now, Okay, there we go. Look at that. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? Yes. Okay, let's check on our pancakes and then we'll come back and try that. Pancakes. All right, let's flip these. They look like they're flippable. Yes, they are. Oh, that's always the best. Ta-da! Let's see, this one's a little bigger. Yes. Okay. All right. Guys, it is pressure to flip pancakes in front of you. I'm just gonna say it, all right? But they're looking good. Let's just give them another moment here. And I'll show you the bacon. Like I said, I already cooked the bacon. I did 3 slices, 2 to 3 slices of the serving. I had it draining here on a paper towel to get rid of all of that extra grease. So let me put this on a different plate. Okay. Here we have our nice side of crispy bacon. And then I feel like our pancakes are probably ready any moment here. We're gonna stack these on here. So let me make some room to do that. Okay. I'm gonna take you guys away from the pancakes. Ready? Here we go. Around the kitchen. We have our drink. We have our pancakes. Excuse me, we have our bacon. Let's get some pancakes on here. We'll start with our bigger one first. And then this one, they got kind of fluffy. Yeah, you see that? That kind of fluffy. And then this one on top. How yum does that look? It looks pretty yummy. Yeah, I'm gonna drizzle some syrup on here in a moment and dig into them. But with the drink, I think it looks pretty good. I'm excited for it, for sure. Okay, let me grab the drink. Let me turn off my stove. Okay, come back on camera here. Just a moment. Here we are. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I'm gonna start making this at home. Yum, definitely do this. Okay, guys, let me share my screen for you again, just so we can finish up for today. I know we are at time, so I do apologize, but I just wanted to show you real quick what is coming up, what is ahead. Okay, here's my little treat and surprise for you guys. It's kind of the week of Shayna, so hopefully you're okay with that, because not only was I with you today, but I will be back with you tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday. And Friday, we're gonna have a good time. Okay, tomorrow is produce spotlight. We're gonna be making a steamed pan apricot chicken with carrots and simply potatoes, which I think sounds lovely. On Wednesday, you guys know I love flowers. We're gonna be talking sunflowers and the power that sunflowers can give us. On Thursday, we do not have class. Friday, Kylene will be joining me for coffee chat, a very special coffee chat. And then on Saturday, if you are not already registered for our well-being workshop, which is in person at Willow Grove, please make sure that you do that. In our follow-up email today, we will be including the link, okay? So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you take care the rest of the day. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording, see if there's any questions that we need answered, and go from there, okay?